Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Zero from TechDragon.info, and today I have a fan going, in case you hear some kind of sound. And my computer is currently spinning up its fans a little bit as well. It is bloody hot in here, so yeah. Otherwise it would melt. So yeah. Anywho, Mizu gifted me. Yeah, you wouldn't expect it, right? I mean, who would have thought? Mizu gifted me the VK4503, and today we're gonna take a look at this tank. It's gonna be a bit of a first impression, first look at it. I have one game I want to show you, and I'm probably, after just recording this section, gonna play a couple of games, see if I can get something worthy of showing you guys, because you know how Water Tanks is. Not every game is amazing, and I don't want to waste you guys' time or mine. So yeah. So let's take a look at what makes this thing tick. It is a tier 7 tank, which basically puts it on par with the Tiger. Now, first off, well, actually, hold on. Let's compare the armor first. Let's start there. Survivability. So hull armor 180/80, turret armor 180/80. Easy enough to remember. If we switch over, we see exactly the same here, but if you look at it, a lot on the Tiger is very, very flat. Like, this thing is a box and a half. This thing is a lot more like a Tiger 2. I mean, here, look. Tiger 2, this thing. Tiger 2, this thing. You see what I'm getting at? Tiger 2, of course, has 150 frontal armor, as you can see here. I'm so happy that we can see this shit in game now. So 1400 hit points, which is less than the Tiger at 1500, so it has a little bit less survivability when it comes to its health. However, its armor, even though it's the same as the Tiger, as you can see, it is sloped pretty good. Not as good as the Tiger 2. Tiger 2 has a couple of degrees more slanted back, where this one's a little bit steeper, thus a little bit less thick. So overall, you know, pretty decent armor. Side armor of 80 is pretty good. It's the same as the Tiger 2 there. So yeah, side scraping is definitely possible with this thing. I don't know off the top of my head, I haven't checked how thick this armor is, but more than likely, if you're trying to pen this thing, shoot it here, because as you can see, this is still sloped a bit as well. So probably if you're dead on, this is about 100 millimeters, and this will more than likely be just 80, or maybe even less. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm gonna guess 80. Looking at the front here, looks like 80. So this thing, what is it? What can it do? Well, it's actually surprisingly good. I didn't know what to expect. I just sort of went into a game without even looking at its stats, just playing it and trying to figure out. And I have that first game for you guys, which will be the first clip here. And then hopefully we'll have a better game after that, an even better game. So let's compare the gun here, because, you know, obviously there's going to be a comparison between the two. And even though it's the same gun in name, it's actually not the same gun. So rate of fire is different. As you can see, the Tiger has that fantastic almost 9 rounds a minute versus 7.14. However, same penetration, same damage, but the accuracy is 0.01 better. Not much, but better. But the aim time, look at that, a fantastic 2.2 seconds. That is great, so it's more accurate and a much better aim time. Wow. So that is absolutely fantastic. Loving that. And you really notice the way you play this thing. So that is really good. So overall, you kind of have a more mobile Tiger. Let's take a look at the mobility here. Let's do that. So if we compare these two, horsepower of 700 versus 700. Weight limits, this one is 65, this one 58. So this one is heavier. Specific power of 10 versus 12. However, this thing just feels a lot more mobile, and I don't know why. It's kind of weird. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's the soft stats on this thing that are just better, because pretty much in every single way, 38 top speed versus 40, 28 track traverse versus, well, 31. This one does have a couple of degrees better track traverse. Maybe that is it. Maybe that's what I noticed. I don't know about the ground clearance on this thing, if it's any better than the Tiger, but it does feel a little bit more mobile than the Tiger, and it might just be the cornering on this thing what really does it. So overall, this thing does not really feel like a lumbering beast. It feels, probably due to the track traverse, relatively agile, and that's a nice thing on a heavy tank. It's always nice to not feel like, oh, I need to turn around, and it's not working, you know? So that's always nice. Let's take a look at the view range here. 388 on the Tiger versus 390 on this thing, but I do have... No, is the base view range on this thing better? Or it's on the turret. 380 on this one versus 380. Oh, okay. I guess because I have a crew in this one and not in the other one. Okay, makes sense. So yeah, it's pretty close to a Tiger in more than one way. I would say that its armor is slightly more effective because it is sloped and the same thickness as the Tiger. So you do get, you know, side scraping capabilities are a bit better on this thing. And you can angle it pretty steeply about this far. To not have him overmatch your side, you gotta be careful of that because it's only 80 millimeters, but about this is how far you want to angle it. So turret's just like your gun just over the, you know, just before the corner, as it were. It's pretty much the most effective that I found. Side scraping is pretty good at, and yeah, let's just take this thing for a spin and let's just see how it works. I'm gonna buy some equipment on this thing and we'll be right back. First game you're gonna see is actually one I played yesterday. It doesn't have the equipment yet. I just put the stock equipment, you know, this transferable equipment on just to see what it could do and all that. But anyways, let's jump into some gameplay, shall we? And here we are with our first game. Actually, did I? I'm recording these things in like different orders because I've already recorded the next segment of this video before I record this one to keep things really confusing. I don't think I have colorblind on the next video. Anyways, right now I'm deciding like, do I want to sit here, and then I'm looking at the artillery go like, nope, ain't happening. The artillery could be sitting in the back of the base there, and I really don't want to be sitting there. So we set up for some side scraping and bounce our first shell and put in a return shell into the T25AT. So I really, on this thing, I intentionally was pretty aggressive, pretty straightforward, not straightforward, pretty forward, as in pretty a forward position, sort of aggressive spot, as a tier 7 in a tier 9 game, just to prove a point. We just bounced a shot from object 416, we put one into his ass. So throughout this game, just take a look at whatever the hell is shooting at us. Bounce another shell, bounce another shell, bounce another shell, try to put one in. We get pinned there. Let's take a look. Not quite sure. Oh, right there, underneath. Yep. Like above the side armor there. Above the tracks. You can see it a bit better now. Thing right there. So, yeah, I'm at this point a little bit worried about the IS-6. He doesn't seem to have too much opposition in order to get to me. Although there is a T-125 off to my right that should keep him in place. Anyways, we're getting kind of chain tracked here. I do have the repair kit toolbox thingy on here. We get repaired, but sadly they managed to get yet another shell into our face. There's a tortoise shooting at us as well. Yeah. And I'm just looking like, well, shit. Don't like that. Okay, tortoise has backed up a bit. Peek out again. Coming out, he is going for the hatch shot and go into cover before he can shoot us. We're trying to just bait a shot here. Come on. Come on, little tortoise. You know you want to shoot me. I'm just trying not to give him too much to shoot at. Like, that is a bit bullshitty though. Couldn't see him, but he just tracked us and didn't do any damage. Looking for the T-5041. No shot there. He's on the other side of the hill. So yeah, normally in most tier 7s I would not play this forward and this aggressive. I'm seeing that the tortoise is buggering off. I see the M103 shooting. Okay, mine time. Hello, side of the turret. Put a shot into his face, pull back. And it was reload is about 8 seconds, give or take, 9 seconds, so I knew he didn't have much on me there. And, well, we're gonna take one shell, but we put one into him in return. And we're tangoing with a tier 9. So what I'm trying to prove here is this thing is capable enough to not sit in the back and do nothing in a tier 9 game, but actually be... Oh, T-5041, gotta be careful with that. He can annihilate me, but it seems he's going the other way. But super Pershing, looking for the shot, for the shot turret cheek, waiting for it to zoom in. He puts a shell into, I'm gonna assume, our lower plate. Might have been a frontal arm. Oh, maybe just above a tracks they're going in. And teammate pulling up, going for the hatch. There we go, finish him off. We have a T-20 prototype there. And one more tank. Nope, just a prototype. And that was it. GG, I'm not going to get a shot into him. So, let's just pause it real quick. Yeah, this thing gets pinned frontally. It's, you know, you gotta realize it's only 100 millimeters. Even with sloping, it's not that much. But once you start angling this thing and showing your side armor and just side scraping with this thing, you get a Tiger that's better at side scraping, has a faster aiming gun that's more accurate, and same penetration, same damage, which is fantastic. A little bit less health, but I would think that the armor more than makes up for it. And I really enjoy this thing. It is a joy to drive. It is not particularly fast, but the track traverse is pretty okay, faster than the Tigers, so it doesn't feel that sluggish when you're trying to maneuver and all that. And yeah, I would say it's a pretty capable tank, and for a tier 7, it does pretty damn well. When top tier, you're gonna be bullying people and wrecking face, and even in a tier 9 game, this thing can still participate on the front line. Standing its own against tier 9s. Know your weak spots, of course, because the ammo is not the most penning, obviously, but there's not that many tanks. Like a Tiger, I wouldn't have taken into that position and side scraping there. That thing would have gotten wrecked a lot sooner because your aim time is too long. It takes too long to really hit those weak spots that you need to hit when you're bottom tier. And that is where this thing excels. It zooms in so much faster, so you can get that shot in, pull back, and have people bounce off your side. It's pretty good. The combination of this thing, I like it. If I had to choose between a Löwe and this thing, and I don't own the Löwe, I would choose this thing. Even though the Löwe is a tier 8 and will make more money than this thing is just, well, pretty much a joy to drive, for the most part. You know, it's a tier 7, you can get into very bad tier 9 matches with artillery and an open map, but that happens to every tank. But between this and the Löwe, yeah, I would pick this. Any time, every time, all the time. This thing is just so much more fun than the Löwe. And yeah, there's people that like the Löwe, and there's a lot of people that don't like the Löwe or even hate it. Now, I have to say I've never played the Löwe, but just going off its stats and how it is and how it plays, I'd rather have this thing. This thing seems to be more my playstyle than the Löwe. And yeah, let's take a look at the stats, shall we? So here we are with the stats. Mostly back to second class. We got a shell proof, we got a spotter, and a steel wall. And with this game, I really want to show you guys just what this thing can do when you put it in a pretty forward position by using side scraping capabilities. We didn't do too much damage. It was a tier 9 game, so we definitely weren't top tier. Was it a tier? Yeah, it was a tier 9 game. We're tier 7, so you know what it is? This tank feels like it's a tier 8 when I'm playing it, and I didn't even realize, but yeah, we were up against tier 9s there. Maybe that's why. But even then, it still performed pretty decent, and I know it's not the best damage, I get that, not by a long shot. I mean, if you look at some of these other people, but we walked away with over 1,000 experience, which is, you know, never a bad thing. Fired 10, hit 9, penned 8, did 1700 damage. We took 13 hits to the face, and that's kind of really what I wanted to show here. Like, really, the resilience of this tank. Even though it's a tier 7, this thing does not back off from basically fighting tier 8s and tier 9s. The gun, of course, the penetration, 203mm, is not, you know, fantastic, but it's certainly not bad. For a tier 7, it's not bad at all. Tiger, of course, also being a tier 7, has a good gun. So does this thing. It's pretty much the same gun. And this thing is more accurate as well. So we took 13 hits to the face, 4 of them penetrated, 9 did not, for 2600 potential damage. We only have 1400 health, so we got pretty much, not quite double, but almost double our HP in damage absorbed by our armor. So you can see why I like this tank. It has some good potential that with the Tiger you just can't do. The Tiger you can angle all you want, but as soon as they see any bit of that flat armor, they just have an instant pen pretty much. The armor on the target really doesn't count for much, especially when you get into these tier 9 games, but we had some pretty big guns shooting at us. The M103, the Tortoise, you know, we had some pretty big guns there. The Object 432, I think it was. Was it Object 432? 416. So yeah, some pretty big guns. And we managed to bust most of them. I think one of those. I'm not sure. I think one of them went through the side there. Yeah, that doesn't matter. Anyways, one of them was in the front, was a Super Pershing shooting into her lower plate. Yeah, well, what are you gonna do? That's gonna pen. So he spotted 2, damaged 5, killed 1, got 1300, almost 1400 spotting damage, drove not too far, 34k profit, and a grand total of 2800 experience for a non-double. So, you know, I get that this isn't the best game ever. Certainly get that. But I just want to show you guys what this thing is capable of. And even in Tier 9 games, I don't feel like this thing is underpowered in a Tier 9. I don't see a Tier 9 game and go like, well, fudge, I'm screwed. No, this thing is actually... The gun, of course, is a bit lacking in Tier 9, obviously. And the armor, 100mm, even angled, is still not great. But that 80mm of side armor, plus the front plate being nice and sloped, does give you an ample opportunity to actually bounce shells. And yeah, so far I've not played too many games in this thing, but I've got multiple steel walls now. And I think multiple shell proofs as well. So yeah, you know, I got a mastery badge 2nd class for getting over 1,000 experience. That's says something, you know. That's not even a 1st class yet. So yeah, people are doing pretty well in this thing, and I like it. I'm actually quite happy with this thing. I enjoy this thing a hell of a lot more than a Tiger, and it feels like its armor is more functional as well, even though the Tiger has better armor. Imagine that. Side armor is the same, actually. So yeah, the VK4503, I really enjoy it. Let's take a look at another game I had. It is, yeah, let's just take a look and you'll see what I mean. And here we are with our second replay, and I fast forwarded a little bit because there was nothing exciting happening at the beginning. Now this is a pretty good game. We are pretty much top tier here, and there's not that many tier 7s. I don't know why, but I keep thinking this thing is a tier 8, but it's a tier 7. I don't know, it feels almost good enough to be a tier 8. Not quite, but it kind of feels like it. So I'm careful here, checking my rear to make sure that this Comet is, you know, I'm not in his line of fire. So I'm just sitting right here, and I see this enemy VK popping up. He does spot me, so I'm taking sort of evasive maneuvers here, re-angling for him. And I kind of expect something else to be out there. Looking for a shot there. Checking where the Comet is. Okay, he's going around me. That's good. And come on. Yes! First shot in, and we track him. Fantastic. Moving forward here, and we take a first shot back as well. Goes into our lower plate. Putting a second shell into his track there again, but sadly don't track him. Can we reload in time? Yeah, nope. In this game, I did not have my AT-15A. Put a headshot. That looked like it said it pens, but it wasn't. That was actually just a ricochet. Oh, bouncing a shot. I'm looking where the enemy VK is. There he is. Come on, over angle. There we go. Showing us. Yes! And we light him on fire. Now, that is not cool. The Comet actually tried to get the kill there. It's like, really, dude, you see him burning to his death. Just give somebody the kill. Like, you know, everybody gets their own kills in this game. There's no kill stealing or anything. But really, if somebody's burning, yeah, just let him burn. I mean, come on. I know it's a single player game, you know, this is not a multiplayer. A lot of people make that mistake. This is not a multiplayer. So, that's that aim time for you. I mean, we're shooting at a hatch here, and we're hitting it pretty reliably at almost 200 meters. So, at this point, I realize, holy shit, there's something behind us, and I take another shell. At this point, I also realized that that AT-15A is shooting HE. So I'm thinking, screw it, turn around. I don't care too much about that HE, won't do a whole lot. And we need to focus on this VK behind us. So, lower plates, yep, you can definitely pen it with about 200 millimeters. Lower plate is pretty weak on this thing, obviously. But that's to be expected. Going for it, yeah, even at that kind of angle, saw that? Even at that kind of angle, you still can go in. Went in right there, lower plate. Or through the upper armor, I'm not sure. That would be strange. Oh, got an A43 here. So we're being capped. I got engines. Okay, he gets finished off. We got stuff coming in from all sides. Cromwell circling us. Yeah, this is not gonna end well. So we're the last one alive. And this is, yeah. So yeah, that was never gonna ever gonna end in any other way. But this seems to be the new meta in World of Tanks. Games are never close anymore. It's always not even half the enemy team is dead and your entire team is dead. The usual score is like 10-5. This is 6 or not 10, yeah, no. 5-15 is what I mean. Like, you know, it's almost never a good fight anymore. I don't know why or what changed or why this is a thing, but yeah. So, yeah, let's take a look at the stats, because that might still surprise you. So, even though this was a loss, take a look at what we got. Mastery Badge, second class, some less important medals, a bruiser, and a high caliber. High caliber, yes. We actually managed to nail quite a bit of shots and do almost 2.7k damage in that quick of a game, because that was a pretty damn short game, and we lost massively. But Fire 12, hit 11, pen 10, 2600 damage done, took 22 hits to the face, 11 penetrated, 11 did not. Those were HE shells into our tracks pretty much for the most part. Walked away with 37k profit. We did get a courageous resistance and 1100 experience. So overall, this tank, I would say it's pretty good. I really like it, and it seems very capable. So yeah, think of it what you want, but that's my verdict. It's a pretty good tank, and yeah, I would recommend this one, and I don't say that too often, so yeah. Take a look at it if you want to get a new German crew trainer and the lure isn't quite your thing. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.